I'm here with Mr. JMoseley from the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great, thanks.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for coming.
Good. Thanks for having me.
You didn't know what you was getting into, did you?
I had some idea.
All right, good. Now, are you from this area?
Yes, I've been in Florence for, I guess, about pretty much my whole life. I was born in Mobile, Alabama, but I've been here pretty much right after that. So I'm, a local as much as you can get.
Okay, good deal. We've only been in the area a couple of years, but we love it. So
it's a nice area. It's
a
little bit special. It is.
Yeah, it really is. We're loving it. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the position that you hold at the Alabama Hall of Fame?
Yes. My official title is curator, but like everybody else there, that frequently entails all kinds of other stuff. So I do the IT stuff. In fact, I'd worked in IT before I got the curator's position. All of us do, to a certain extent, group sales type stuff. That also falls under some of the stuff that I do. Of course, the showcases, handling the memorabilia and stuff, contacting the inductees or, music achievers, their families. I deal with all that, trying to get more stuff in, trying to, make sure that everything's accurate. So it's a little bit kind of like maybe librarian-ish. But also a little bit of marketing stuff, I'd say, overall.
Sounds like a cool job.
It's pretty fun. Like, before this, I'd worked in tourism, and that was a lot of fun. We did a little bit of this stuff, but this is up on a different level. We take it seriously.
Right. Well, I've never been to the Alabama Music Hall of Fame yet, but I've heard a lot about it.
We'll let that go this time.
Yeah. So I want to go in and tour the bus, the Alabama.
Oh yeah.
I heard that y'all had that.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff in there. The Alabama tour bus, it was their first tour bus from the group Alabama. If you don't know them, then I don't know what I can do for you. They were like country group of the decade for the 80s, and they had a really long career. Anyway, we've got their tour bus there exactly as it was. Complete with the old analog TV in the very back, which was cutting edge back in the early 80s. We have kids come through all the time that at the very end of the bus, they're like, well, what is this thing? That's the funniest thing ever to me. But we've got that. We've also got a car that was driven around by a record promoter named Hal Burns. It's this customized Pontiac 51. It's got 12 guns on it, 200 silver dollars in the interior trim. It's kind of a crazy car. That one's also another favorite. And then, of course, for the most prominent inductees and achievers like W.C. Handy, we've got some stuff on Buddy Killen. We have just about as many of their, personal effects as you can get that we can accommodate with space and everything. We got some of W.C. Handy's personal diaries in there. Some of his, we've got one of his trumpets in there. And we've got like a section on each genre, with the country section, obviously. We've got Hank Williams and some of the other country greats. The rock and roll section, we've got Sam Phillips. We've got an Elvis signature
I was going to ask
on
you
display.
If you had anything
of
about
course,
Elvis.
We can't not have Elvis in there. We actually have 2 Elvis signatures. We've got a great display on Sam Phillips, and Lionel Richie is also in the rock and roll section. We have his Triple Platinum Award for Dancing on the Ceiling. We've got a gospel section, jazz, a section just on Muscle Shoals, actually, which has all kinds of stuff from Rick Hall. And if you've seen the Muscle Shoals documentary, you'll see some of the stuff was actually in the film. A whole section on that. And then, of course, we have like a very small recording studio that people can actually get in and it's like a karaoke type deal. We've got over 200,000 songs in the database. People can get in there, pay for the CD, and then record, a few tracks on there. People usually have a pretty good time with that, especially with the groups that come in. They think you can't not get in a recording studio and have a laugh when you're with some friends. So
now, do you do video as well? Do you film them singing as well?
No, we just have the audio set up for this.
In Nashville, we did that, and we got in a little booth, and we did the singing, the karaoke, and they filmed it. So
I think if they knew they were on camera, a lot of them wouldn't go in there.
Yeah, that's neat. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's fun. We've got a little bit of everything, I think.
Okay, how long have you been working there?
I've been there just over 6 months now. I started working in February. As soon as I got there, we hit the ground running with the induction banquet, and then since then we've just been doing all kinds of special events and concerts, pretty much since day one. So it's been a very fast-paced.
Sounds like you've got some young energy, and you can bring a lot to it. So I was going to ask you the most interesting guests that have visited this area since you've been there, or that come and tour. I'm sure you've heard of people. I guess they come from all over the world.
We get a lot of international visitors. The biggest celebrity guest, everybody thinks it's Johnny Depp because he's working on that TV series. He has not been here. He's been to Fame Studios though.
Okay.
I can't really think. I don't think we've had any celebrities per se yet come through, but in terms of just the visitors, we get all kinds of people. Some of them are movie directors from New York will come. We've got one guy who comes a couple times a year. He was one of the producers on Law and Order, and for some reason he just loves Alabama, loves the music. He saw the documentary, of course, and he made a trip down here, and so he's been back several times. We've also got international visitors. Most often from Europe, but we get some from Australia too. In addition to our regular visitors, we also get visitors that are brought in kind of like by our marketing partners like Colbert County Tourism, Florence Tourism, Alabama Music Triangle. And those people are usually journalists or documentary filmmakers or something like that. And we get a ton of those in.
That's neat.
They'll do interviews with me or Dixie sometimes on, whatever it is they're in there for. We've had a few hundred this year. Like I'm really surprised. Like over at the other office that I worked at before this, we dealt with a lot of international and business type visitors, but it's been, like I said in the beginning, it's been so fast paced since I've been there.
So tell me what does the tour consist of? Do you have different tours how does that work?
Yeah, we'll do a slightly different tour, but for most people it's going to involve like an introduction by me up in the gallery room. We'll just tell you a little bit about what the Alabama Music Hall of Fame is, what we've done in the past, what we're doing now, what our purpose is, and then we'll step in from the lobby into the gallery room, tell some of the stories for however much time they've got, and then the rest of the museum is pretty much self-guided. I'll usually go around, or sometimes Dixie will, and whatever questions people have, we'll try to answer them, or we'll try to Google it, whichever.
Right.
But the whole thing takes about an hour, and of course we'll do different stuff for different groups. If anybody has a special request, we'll of course do whatever we can to accommodate it. But generally that's what the tour is going to be like for most people.
Okay, and so do y'all have like a tour bus that you do a tour through this area, or is that somewhere else?
We don't, but there is one of those that exists. It's called the Swampette Tour, and it's actually run by Judy Hood, who, if you've seen the documentary, or even if you haven't, is the wife of David Hood, legendary bassist with the Swampers, as mentioned in Sweet Home Alabama. Very heavily featured in the documentary. She was, of course, there for most of what went on back in the day, so she's an excellent tour guide. What usually happens with that arrangement is they'll start off, I think they start at the Marriott. The tickets are I don't know what it is this year, so I better not say, but they'll do a tour of every music attraction in the area. Everything from all of the studios, the Jackson Highway, the Fame Studios. They've gone to Cypress Moon a few times. They make like a circuit, and we're also included in that. So if you want that kind of experience, that is available, and you can look on, we usually advertise that on our Facebook, or some of the other tourism offices in the area will also advertise that. It's I did that way before I ever thought about even working at a place like this, and it was a ton of fun. It really is. It's one of the best ways to learn about music from the area.
That's great. I'm glad that we have that. Now, on Tuesday, or is it every third Tuesday, y'all have musical guests?
Yes. We try to have like an offering of music for various audience sizes and everything. And what we call our third Tuesday is our free music offering. It's always free. We're taking a little bit of a break from it right now for a special event that hopefully we'll be talking about later. But excuse me. Yeah, that is every third Tuesday we'll have some kind of band, usually a local group. But even with local groups around here, like with Travis Womack, he toured with Little Richard. He was his guitarist for a while.
That.
Yeah. So when you hear local band, that's a little bit different in this area.
Because they've got connections.
They do. They've got connections. They've got chops. So we'll do that every third Tuesday. It usually starts at about 4:30 until 6. People are welcome to come in. We'll usually have refreshments for sale, if they want a drink or a snack. We try to have something a little different every time. But like I said, this month we're not having a third Tuesday for another special event.
And so that's because Kelly Cash
Kelly Cash is going to be here. That was the only day she was available, so unfortunately we had to schedule her that day. So this month we're not going to have a free concert. So.
Okay, well this will be something different to offer them. And I think we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back we'll talk about Miss Kelly Cash. I've been watching her on some of her interviews, David Letterman and all, getting to know her. So looking forward to that. We'll be right back after this commercial break.